Kutztown Live. Kutztown University campus's campus and community interest radio magazine. You can call Kutztown Live at 610-683-4859. And now, your host for Kutztown Live, Juliana Jablonski. And welcome to Kutztown Live here on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR, Tuesday, August 14th at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So this is live, and you are on the radio voice of Kutztown University, KUR, Kutztown's campus and community issues talk radio magazine, airing each and every Tuesday in the fall and spring semesters and during the summer on a monthly basis. And it won't be long, Lori, until we are back into full mode, and you'll be back here on a bi-weekly basis.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. And we're well underway planning all of our events and projects for the fall and spring, so we'll be ready.
Awesome. Okay, so before I let you take over the reins as our guest host, as you always do so fluently, what's up down at the Northeast Berks Chamber as we wrap up these final days of summer?
Well, we have several networking activities coming up in the next several weeks, and then we will move right into September with our monthly breakfast programs and our 5th annual Shining Star Awards. Coming up next week in the area on August 23rd from 4:30 till 6, we will have our 3rd and final summer networking mixer at Herman's Drive-In in Topton. Herman's has been a member for a long time, probably 14 or 15 years, and we're happy to end the summer with some ice cream and comfort food. So that's coming up next. Just 2 weeks later, here in town at Paisley & Company, we will be hosting a ribbon cutting and grand reopening event along with Joanne Lappick, who is the owner of the wonderful Paisley store. She recently implemented a big expansion project at the very popular retail store. So she will have an entire day of activities, samples, and that will be again on Saturday, September 8th from 10 till 6 p.m. And the ribbon cutting will be at 10 a.m. So be sure to visit Paisley on that Saturday. Coming up then, a few weeks later in September, we will launch an entire new season of monthly breakfast programs for the Northeast Berks Chamber. Starting on Friday, September 21st, we will have a legislative update with Senators Argel and Senator Schwank. We will also have a nonprofit presentation by Hawk Mountain, and that will be sponsored by PCI, Pennsylvania Chamber Insurance. To get information and to register for any of our events or monthly meetings, please visit our website at northeastberkschamber.com. Coming up this month, also, we mentioned that the Shining Star Awards will be happening in September again on the 26th, and we're very excited to announce our keynote speaker for that event is Coach Adrian Turner. That'll be held at C.J. Hummel's in Lenhartsville. And coming up in the next 2 weeks will be our annual Chamber Day at the Reading Fight and Phils. That'll be held on August 26th, and game time is 2:15, and we have a whole list of sponsors which you can find on our website. There is never any shortage of activity at our small regional chamber, Mike, and we're continuing to remain active for the benefit of our new members and our existing members.
I was just going to say, after a list like that, you are not bored, are you?
No, I'm not.
Good.
And that's the short list, Mike. I didn't even get into detail
that's the Cliff
on
Note,
that one.
That's the Cliff Note version, yeah, okay.
Well, I'm very pleased to introduce two guests today. Our guests are business partners and co-owners of Continual Impact from Kempton. And these two lovely people are Pam Vecellio and Chris Bujak. And I've known them for almost 2 years. November will be the 2-year anniversary of your membership. And we have been very pleased to engage with them. Pam has been involved in some activities with the Chamber, including Women's Entrepreneurship Week here at the university 2 years ago. So again, I'd like to introduce Pam and Chris so they can tell you about their business, Continual Impact. Welcome.
Thanks for having us, Lori.
Thanks to Lori, Mike, and also Kutztown University Radio. Happy to be here.
Now, I know this is to say something very simply, but what you do on a daily and weekly basis is to assist businesses in creating a culture of improvement. You know, we know that most people like to improve themselves or their lives, and certainly business owners want to improve their businesses. And so why don't you tell us about the types of clients you have, how you got started at Continual Impact, and what are some of the methods that you recommend to your clients to improve their processes and people?
Well, Lori, as you say, Continual Impact, the name basically describes what the mission of the consulting company is basically helping organizations of all kinds of sizes and types make a bigger impact. Make a bigger impact than they might be doing right now, and maybe even more than what they think is possible. And by impact, we mean things like more value for their customers, better bottom lines on the company, and importantly to us, also make an impact in people's lives. By that, I mean helping the people in the organizations eliminate the frustration and waste in their processes, as they get better. And also transfer some knowledge over to them so that they can do it themselves going forward. So, that's what Continual Impact was really created for.
Pam, how did Continual Impact get started?
Well, it got started with Chris. Chris started it maybe 7, 8, almost 10 years ago. And he retired and decided he wasn't done and he wanted to continue to make a bigger impact. And so he kept going. About 6 years ago, I joined on a part-time basis, and then 5.5 years now I've been full-time. So we both have been doing this for quite some time. We've been doing it throughout our careers for many, many years before we decided to go out and do it as Continual Impact.
So did you know each other previously? Did you have a professional relationship?
We do. We did and we do.
Okay, that's wonderful. So tell us about the types of clients, large or small. I know that you have clients in Lehigh Valley and some in Berks County, and you were telling me today before the show that you'll be traveling to Montana. So tell us a little bit about your clients and what you do.
Well, our background, as Pam was saying, is in a major business here in the Valley. We've spent most of our lives living and working here in the Valley. And we did it in a manner of in engineering, manufacturing, business units, both in them, running them. And when you do that, you're trying to improve their performance. You're trying to help them always get better. And then in the same company, we basically were accountable for working with a team to develop an integrated way to go about improving performance, try to create high-performing organizations both inside the company and as a company. So you build together an integrated formula of things that some people know these days as Lean and Six Sigma and employee engagement and things like that. And then you work with leaders from the top of the organizations to the people who are actually doing the processes to make things better. So after having that job for a while, that's when we spun off Continual Impact, and basically are trying to do that with organizations. Now, you ask kind of what kinds of organizations is really the question. And the answer is maybe a little bit funny, which is the size doesn't matter, what they do doesn't matter so much. It's a matter of what they want to be. What I mean by that is you're looking for leaders who want a special kind of organization, want a high-performing organization, believe in their people as key to that, and want to learn and try new things, try different forms of their processes, as they go to market with their products and services.
Now, of course, companies will come to you because they want to make these improvements. What are some of the challenges of working with teams of people in your line of work?
The challenges is probably identifying and recognizing that you have a gap and that you're willing to openly talk about it and get help with it. As human beings, we like to say everything's fine, everything's good, we don't need help. And we are here to help. You also asked, Lori, about some of the methods and the approaches that we use. So Chris referred to it a little bit. We help people in different ways. If you are a business organization that really needs some focus, we help with things like creating a strategic plan Or how do you take a strategic plan into what do I need to do this year, and what do I need to do like every week and for the next year in order to achieve my strategies? After that, we spend a whole lot of time on problem solving. We teach people, we coach people how to solve problems so that they do not come back. So how to take out the waste, the inefficiencies, the frustration, the stress, the things that go wrong in your daily work processes. And that can be in anything, in any process, in any part of the business, any part of the organization. How do you take out that waste? Because we hear people say, well, I'm so busy, I don't have time. Or I don't have enough staff or employees to do this. And we would say that's a perfect opportunity for continual improvement. Because now we can talk about getting out the waste. We've done things like we've helped, I'll give you an example. One project team, they were taking 7.5 hours to get ready to do an inspection process. So 7.5 hours to set up for it, to do it, and then to do the follow-up. We worked through a problem-solving method called Kaizen, and at the end of the day, they took their 7.5 hours down to 50 minutes.
That's remarkable.
So that's the kind of
That
stuff
was huge.
we are here not just for 5% incremental improvement. We want to help organizations get 60, 70, 80% improvement and really start to transform what they do.
That's amazing. I know one point that you just made about strategic planning. So often an organization or a company will spend and invest countless hours in the process of strategic planning, which is so important. And they get input and they get feedback. But oftentimes, as you mentioned, it's then in the implementation process where things really fall through the crack and people don't take ownership for, certain aspects of the plan. And it becomes challenging to say, okay, what are the steps, as you said, that we need to accomplish over the next 5 years, for example. So I think it's really, a very valuable service that you're providing. What are some of the ways that you help employers coach their employees? Give me some examples of those.
Coaching, first off, Lori, which make me think about is in our model and in our way of helping organizations, people are the key element in high-performing organizations. You do not get there and leave the people behind. And by people, I mean people at all levels, from the boardroom down to the people doing the work process. So coaching actually happens at all levels. For example, the role of first-line supervisors changes as you go forward and kind of engage people more, improve work processes. By changing, I mean they find themselves with less time in firefighting and addressing things that are in all those wastes that Pam was talking about earlier, and more time in coaching the people, helping them solve new problems and improve things further. The other thing that we do is, and we have kind of role-based training for all of the levels of the organization. For leaders of organizations, their role changes. By their role, I mean people look at leaders in terms of their behaviors and whether or not they're going to emulate those behaviors. So you're looking for the leaders to also adopt some of the kind of basic principles and improvements of continual improvement and coach their kind of first lieutenants in the organization. So you basically work with all levels of the organization on their roles in trying to create such a high-performing organization and get them involved in coaching throughout the organization.
What is the average length of time that you'll work with a client?
Very much
on a project.
It very much depends. What I mean by that is, if you're truly trying to transform an organization into a high-performing one that is basically always improving, and is exemplary, in whatever their industry or organization is, it is a transformational change, and transformational changes take 2, 3, 4 years to do.
Sure.
So in some cases, you're working with organizations often on an ongoing basis. In other cases, organizations looking for solving a specific problem that they've run into. They're looking for some help they're kind of stuck along the way and they need some advice. So we basically, as Pam said, do everything from working with people around finding opportunities and developing plans, training, but also specific applications on things. And in those cases, it's a shorter kind of time period.
Now, I noticed that you have organized a one-day seminar or workshop that's coming up in October. Why don't you tell us about that?
Absolutely. We're super excited to be offering a conference. So it is a conference focused on how do you continue to build that high-performing organization. So we've invited folks from all over the place, mostly regional and local, to come and join. We've got lots of hands-on workshop activities at a foundation level and an advanced level. So there's going to be Lean, Six Sigma, quality, people, all kinds of people things that you can come, you can present, you can share, you can learn, you can make new relationships and networks and walk away with specific things that you can go and put in place tomorrow in your organization to help make improvement.
Pam, if someone wants to get in touch with you about the conference or is interested in utilizing your services, how can they reach you?
Sure. You can reach us at our website. It's quite simply continualimpact.com. And through that website, you can find Chris, you can find myself and our phone number there. In the conference, if you want to read more about the conference, you can look under the services tab and you'll see things for October 9th. Around mistake proofing. So how do I design something so I cannot make a mistake? And then the conference is actually October 10th and 11th up here locally in the Lehigh Valley.
I believe you also have an e-newsletter. Is that correct?
We do, Lori. If you go to our website, continualimpact.com, what you'll find is we're fairly frequent bloggers going through like LinkedIn, going through Twitter, and we post all of those up on Continual Impact. So if you go to there, you can find a whole series of things around specific items about how to do something, or even this topic around, organizational change kind of thing. And the conference that's coming up, like Pam said, we're really excited about it. What we found and what we heard from people out there was, again, this whole region is a great place to live and to work, and there's a lot of people out there that have the interest and spirit around improving their organizations. So what we're running into is people just want to continue their learning, to share what their improvements are, kind of to talk the shop of continual improvement. So it's really for leaders of organizations and kind of the practitioners of continual improvement to come and share and learn and develop some relationships as well.
All right. Well, thank you both so much for being our guests today. We appreciate that information, and I know that our chamber members and anyone listening to this podcast will, I'm sure, appreciate getting in touch with you about process improvement. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you again next month, right, Lori?
Yes, you will. I'll be here.
And thank you to our guests, Pam and Chris. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
Have a great
Lori.
day. This has been Kutztown Live. We'll see you once again next month.